All right, welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today's guest, and you guys are going to love her energy. We have Simmone Bowe with us, who is a limitless life coach, and that is actually what caught my attention initially on her Instagram page. And I love that. That's what she was sharing with her audience, is that we're all limitless, and I could tell that she really loved to see people thriving in their lives, and her energy was just fantastic. And so you guys are really going to enjoy this episode. So without further ado from me, I want to introduce you guys to Simmone. And Simmone, if you could do me a favor and just share with the audience really what you do, why you do it, and who you are and all that good stuff, so they're more familiar with you.
Sure. Thank you, Noel. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really honored. And you described it all. I feel like, we could just sign off because you know me. So as Noel introduced me, I am the Limitless Life Coach, and it's a title that I've kind of rebranded myself as because I feel that it really captures what I'm about and what I want people to be about, to be limitless and to understand that we are limitless beings and that we don't have to subscribe to external limitations or internal limitation. And it really came out of my own story and my own journey. And I won't preempt that in case you have a question or two about that. But my own journey was one of really being a people pleaser and someone who was hiding my light and just in situations that were not serving me. And it wasn't until I got my own breakthrough that I realized what breakthrough meant. And it started to attract people who were in similar situations. And so the course of my life and my career, my work life has always been in development. I started my career as a teacher. I taught junior high school, and then I went into a vocational school, a hospitality school, and I taught there for a while. I worked for the government of the Bahamas, which is where I live, and I worked in youth development, young people who were in difficult situations, and we were getting them prepared for the job market and for life in general. And from there, I really developed my passion for human resources and did some time in human resource management. But my passion has always been on development and working with people through building their esteem and understanding their worth so that they could achieve their dreams. And so that's really what I've committed my life and my work to doing.
I love everything that you said so much, Simmone, and that is that's why I wanted to have you on, because I connected with you right off the bat when it came to just wanting everybody to know that all of us are limitless, and the only limitations that we have are the ones that we self-impose. And once I learned that in my life became so much fun, because then it just became about being able to just ask myself, really, what am I passionate about? What do I want to create? What's something that I feel is my purpose while I'm here? And, that's something that's always evolving for us all. But once I learned that I could be, do, and have anything, and that the same energy lied within us all, and that I could flow it out into the world however I chose to flow it out, everything opened up for me. And then I'm like you, I just wanted everybody to be aware of that, especially those that were, brought into my life, or, people that I cared about already. And I've learned since, and you probably become aware of this too, that people have to kind of be asking for the information, ready to receive it before, because we have all these limiting beliefs that, we build up over the years. But I'm sure, just from what I'm hearing, as you started seeing those things happening in your life and the results that you were getting once you became aware of this, people are attracted to you now. And and I know how fulfilling that is. So explain that for us. How, when you made the switch from obviously applying it in your life and seeing, great results for you, but then there was a switch for you. It sounded like you were already working in some fields where you were helping anyway. So that probably kind of helped a lot. But that switch where you went from applying for yourself to now I want to see other people being able to apply this in their lives.
Yeah, I think the real epiphany, I mean, in life we have several epiphanies. I mean, I don't think it ever ends, Absolutely. And so I think one of the first epiphanies that I had was when I attended the late Dr. Miles Monroe's church. A lot of people are familiar with him and attach the Bahamas with him, but he was a great spiritual teacher from the Bahamas, and he focused really on a few topics only. And in the 30 years of his ministry, he just spoke about a few things, and one was purpose, one was vision, one was potential, and the other was leadership. And those were the only four things that he spent his time on. And so I spent 5 years in his ministry, and honestly, just hearing those messages over and over again about vision, about potential, about purpose, it opened up my eyes to my own life. So that was one of the epiphanies that I had, that I recognized that I wasn't just living just to exist, that my life had meaning, that I came to this world to contribute to the world and to contribute something great. So that was the first thing that started the journey. And then I went into graduate studies. So I started my career, as I mentioned, in hospitality. As of course, living in the Bahamas, it's all about tourism and hospitality. But I came out of high school actually really young. I was 15 years old. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I've kind of evolved into life. You know, life happened to me for so many years. And so I did hospitality, I did English, I did human resource development. And in that program, there was a class, and I'll never forget this. It was a turning point for me, because in that particular class, we were talking about change, and we were talking about the principles of change and the whole concept of change. And I remember my lecturer saying something along the lines of, people would never change until their desire for something new becomes greater than the pain of where they are now. Mm. And that for me was like, boom, 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 because of course I was in a situation at that time where I felt trapped. I felt trapped by my own life. I was unhappy. I wasn't fulfilled. I was hearing all these messages about purpose, but I was like, I'm not seeing it. And so hearing that about change, I realized that, hey, I needed to move away from my discomfort and move toward the desired thing. And so that ignited in me a passion for, so it moved beyond just teaching people or training people in a corporate setting. It became more about connecting with people at their soul level, at where, you know, they understand who they are and why they are, so that everything that they do becomes meaningful. Because again, I've worked in the school setting, I've worked in corporate and hotels and so forth, and in government. And so you see people on the day-to-day grind. You know, they're doing it, but they're doing it to pay bills. They're doing it because it's something they just dropped into, and they feel like they don't have the power to live a fulfilled life. And for me, that was sad. And I knew that it was something that I didn't want for myself. And so it just really made me very much more committed and determined to make this my platform, that anyone that I came into contact with needed to know this.
I love that so much. And you said there's three things that I'm gonna flow out here that you just inspired me to say. You know, and I love everything that you just said so much. The first thing that I'm inspired to share with everybody listening is you matter, and you are put on this earth. And even if you're not necessarily inspired to go out there and, you know, be a teacher like Simmone is, and, you know, to help people in that capacity, just the simple conversation that you have when you leave your home and, you know, you're in a really good energy, you're feeling loving, you're feeling passionate, you're feeling joyful. Those conversations that you have with someone that day, you never know what that will do for that person and on their path. There's been times in my life where I've had a conversation with someone and it led to me being inspired to go read a book or to go, you know, watch a video that just completely took my life to the next place that I needed to go. And, you know, that person had no idea what they were doing, but it was just a friendly conversation. And so that's my first thing that I'm inspired to share with everybody. And then second, for all of you guys out there, we've all had, like Simmone described, those painful parts of our life. And I love how you said that, when the pain gets to the point where you actually want to do something about it. And I've worked in businesses before where we call that, a lot of times people are comfortably uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly.
And there was an analogy where a guy came up to a man's home and he said, "Sir, your dog has a nail in his foot." And the guy said, "Don't worry. When it gets too painful for him, he'll move."
Exactly. I love that story. Trust me. It's a perfect example.
Absolutely. So I love that. And when Simmone started talking about purpose, the third thing I was inspired to share with everybody is what I've kind of learned, and I've heard this from many spiritual teachers. When people are trying to figure out what their purpose is, because that's a big thing for a lot of us, because all of us want some type of fulfillment in our lives. And so what I've noticed for me, and what I've heard from many different sources, is there's always part of the world where you really, is a strong pull inside of you where you want to see that changed. You want to see that being different. And for me, and I know part of this is definitely Simmone's passion and purpose is, for me, once I've determined and once I learned that I could be doing, have anything, and that I was limitless, and that I could go create whatever I wanted, I was like, I can't keep this inside. Like, I have to share this. And so it's evolved over the years to where I want to share more and more. It just never stops, like you said, Simmone. But for everybody listening out there, there's probably a part of the world that when you see it, it really is something that you want to change, and it could be anything. It could be in any area of life. And there's some people that they see those things and they just continue to stay in that difficult place, and they're pointing and they're blaming and saying, "I hate this," and "This person is at fault for this," and nothing can be created from that place. Now, that's a great place to allow ourselves to fuel what it is that we want to create, the desires that, like Simmone talked about, and the people that really start moving towards those desires because of that pain are going to be the ones that create everything that we see around us. That's how everything that we see today has been created at some point. So I got it all
That's
out.
right. Right. And that is so powerful, and it's so true. I mean, if you think about it, even if you think about technology and how technology has evolved over the years just to make our lives more comfortable. I mean, who thinks about putting cup holders in a car, and now you have little coolers in a car, you can put drinks in the glove compartment. I mean, it's like people create things based on making things better for other people. And one of the things that I wanted to say, and raise that point, is that sometimes people get caught up by looking at other people's purpose and comparing. And comparing is the worst thing that you could ever do, because we are all uniquely fashioned. We're all uniquely gifted, and our purpose matters. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. And this is why when you are a purposeful person, you don't have to live in competition. And you don't have to live in comparison, because you're so busy just trying to be the best you and get that purpose out. It's so consuming that you don't have time to worry about what other people are doing. But the danger of comparison, and this is what I found is, and I struggled with this for myself for a while, is that sometimes we think that our purpose has to be this huge, glamorous thing, that you're on the world stage, or you have to be a celebrity or some famous person to be purposeful. And that is not the truth. There are people in the world's history who are very purposeful, who we may never know their name, but their very existence mattered so much that it was the catapult to something else. I remember hearing this story. I'm not quite sure if it's as accurate as it is, but I think I heard the story of, I think it may have been Steve Harvey's grandmother. I need to research it. But she was actually a caretaker or caregiver for Billy Graham when he was a child.
Wow.
And so the same hymns that she sung to Steve Harvey, she sang to Billy Graham, and look at what he became. So her spiritual injection into his life fueled his purpose, which touched millions of people around the world. So sometimes you may think that your purpose doesn't matter because it doesn't seem grand. I mean, look at Mother Teresa. I mean, she gave her life to helping people in the slums and in poverty, but she gave them care and she gave them comfort. And so we can't get caught up in the glamour of what we perceive purpose to be. Purpose is about fulfilling a need. It's about being a solution. It's about solving a problem, or adding to this world in some meaningful way. and it could be being passionate about animals, it could be passionate about children, passionate about the environment. I mean, what for us, it's passionate about people, and there's so many people, and even in the personal development space, who focus on so many different things. People focus on dating, they focus on the law of attraction, they focus on life after divorce, they focus on creating a course, they so many different things that all meet together to make a very efficient and synergistic world, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I love what you're saying so much. And for those of you listening out there, there's 7.6 billion of us on the planet, and no two of us have lived the same life experience. So that means that you're uniquely equipped to create whatever it is that you choose to create, just like Simmone was mentioning, because of those life experiences that you had, which have sparked powerful desires that you now have. And no two of us can create the same thing the same way. You might be creating the same thing, so to speak, but yours is going to be completely different because all those life experiences and all those desires that you have are injected into those. So that's why I love sharing a planet with 7.6 billion of you guys. I can't speak to all of you in the same language just yet, but they're working on that. I've heard of some new technology that's coming out, and you mentioned technology, which I'm personally not inspired to create any, but I want to use everything that you guys out there create. So please keep creating and making our lives easier. I love it. But that's the cool thing is we all have such different desires, and from the beginning of time, you guys have heard me joke about this in several episodes, but it's so true. Simmone and I wouldn't be sitting down in chairs right now if somebody hadn't at some point got tired of sitting on the floor. I mean, we need
Exactly.
everybody's desire. So that person, you might not say, might not be able to name the person that invented the chair, but we all appreciate them. That's for sure. Yeah, exactly. So I love that so much. I love where this conversation is already going. Anything that you want to add, or else I have another question for you that you've already started to answer for us. But anything you want to add to any of that?
I wanted to just touch a little bit on something you said as well about what we give out to the world and not getting caught up in the painful experiences or using those painful experiences to learn from. Because I'm just amazed every time I hear people tell me, oh, I really love your energy. Like how you said that, you were able to, we've never met in person, but there was something about me that connected with you. And here we are today. And I've heard that so many times where people would say, oh, I love your smile, I love your energy. Like I'd walk around and people are like, oh my God, you're always so happy. And I'm like, no, I'm not always happy. But there is just something that I'm very conscious about, and it is what we give off to people. And we touch people in so many different ways as well, that when we heal, we don't hurt other people. I think that's so important to come out of our painful experiences with the lessons and to be able to process them. That's something that I'm very passionate about as well, is about processing your pain, sitting in your pain and understanding it. And as you said so well, not blaming other people and saying, oh, well, if that didn't happen to me, or if I wasn't born there, or if I didn't have those parents or whoever, then my life would have been better. We take all of those things and we process them, we learn from them, we embrace them, we're grateful for everything, because we wouldn't be the persons that we are today. I think of all the negative things that I went through in my life, and yes, it's easy to say, boy, if I could live my life again, I wouldn't go through that again. But then I realized if I didn't, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. If I didn't go through certain things, I wouldn't have empathy, I wouldn't have compassion, I wouldn't have resilience, I wouldn't have passion. And so I just want to encourage people who are listening to us that be mindful of every experience that you've had and make sure that you process it well, so that when you come out on the other side of it, that it's not still a painful thing, but it is now the springboard for you to really be a positive impact on other people. I see so often in my work where people hurt other people because of their unprocessed pain. And they make the workplace so uncomfortable. They make home life uncomfortable. They make organizations uncomfortable because they haven't dealt with themselves. And so I just wanted to drop that in the conversation as well. And it's really so important to process your pain so that you can be free to give off and to exude positivity so that great things can come back to you and flow from you.
Absolutely. I love that, Simmone. And what's made processing pain, because we're all human. And so a painful experience is going to be a painful experience to us all. I mean, and it's not that it has to be in the moment, it is going to be challenging. But as we move through it, if we can really recognize, like Simmone is saying, that it was those experiences that have become the springboard for, those things that we're now wanting to create, or, who we are as people as of today, then we can start to bless those experiences. Maybe you won't be able to bless them in the moment. You can get to the point where they don't have
Get there.
to drag you down for longer than they need
Yeah.
to. Like, you can say,
Yeah.
okay, I've survived all of my worst days, because I'm still here. And so, I can know that these experiences are the reason why I'm now on this path. And even though they were challenging in the moment, I'm very, very appreciative that I'm moving in this direction and in this way now. So I love that so much. That is really amazing information, because, yeah, it's so true. The longer that, we allow, past experiences to dictate the only thing that we have control over, which is the energy that we put into the world right now in this moment. That's all any of us control, is how am I going to present myself to the world today in this moment? And then that's going to determine, the thoughts that I have are going to be a match to the state of being that I'm in right now. If I'm in a loving state of being, then I'm going to have loving thoughts. I'm going to speak loving words, take loving actions, and my results that I see in my life will be congruent with that. And so I love that so much. Okay, I have to ask you this question now, because we're vibing on a really fun level, and I want to hear your answer to this. So I've been asking everybody that's been a guest, because really what inspired me to start sharing as much as I could, a few years ago, was asking myself the question, knowing that, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. If today were my last, had I shared with everything that was inside of me with people, so that, long after I'm gone, someone could come across this and it potentially could uplift them and, benefit them. And so from then it just became a process of, I want to share everything, and it'll be that way until I leave the earth. Hopefully it's a long time from now, but that'll just be the case.
Yes, hopefully.
So, you've already shared so many of these things, I know, but what, for you, is something that you would love to share with humanity, knowing that this could, whenever people come across it, this will benefit them and uplift them?
Yeah, I think it is going back to the whole thing about being limitless and focusing on those limiting beliefs that you mentioned before and the self-imposed limitations. I just see people who walk around in a sense of hopelessness and helplessness, where we have a victim mentality that life is happening to me and I can't control what happens to me and I can't change what happens to me. And I just want people to know that it is not like that, and it doesn't have to be like that. You have more power than you know. You are more powerful than you know. And oftentimes we just need to pull up the courage and the boldness to move ourselves like that dog, move from the thing that is causing us the discomfort. So we sit on jobs that we're not happy on. We sit in relationships that we're not happy. We just move around in this state of despair and frustration. And often we look at people, even in my country, people are so frustrated with governance and the things that they see happening even on a national level. And so you could turn on a talk show from day to day on any radio station and you just hear people going on, da, 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 da. What needs to happen, what needs to change, and this needs to happen, and everything is like outside of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people aren't focused on what I have control over. As you mentioned, we have control over certain things right now in this moment, and we can control ourselves. We can control how we think. We can control how we respond. We can control our actions, our behaviors. And so if people can recognize that, then, I made a commitment to myself at the end of last year. I wrote actually a pretty radical article called "Stop Making New Year's Resolutions." Because, by February they're done anyway. But the whole point of it is that we should really have a more long-term vision for our lives And we should create those goals and strategies out of a bigger purpose. That was the whole point behind the article.
Love it.
But people, we just need to focus on what is it that I can do now that is within my control. And so I was laughing with a friend because he was like, "Oh, wow, was your New Year's resolution in 2019 to just be bold?" Because I'm saying things that I would never said before. And I said to him, I'm like, yes, I said, I'm creating this course now, a coaching course called Courageous Communication, because we just need to start saying stuff. I mean, people want to be invisible. They don't want to, they shrink back. They don't share their ideas. And then they sit back and they're like, Noel didn't notice me. Why didn't he invite me to be on his show? But what are you doing to put yourself out there, to make yourself visible, to get yourself heard? Why are you putting up with things that, why are you not voicing your opinion? Why are you not able to say what you want? And a lot of times we just let life pass us by because we're too afraid and we're not taking the courage to say those things, to be the person that we want to be, to have the things that we know we want to have. As your mantra, I've already seen that's your mantra, So, so that's really the message that I would want to leave the world.
Wow. Okay, so if anybody's spaced on anything Simmone was just saying, rewind, and even if you heard everything she just said, rewind and listen to that again. That was so many good points that you just made. And what I'm inspired to share, in regards to that is, there's no special breed of us as human beings. And you guys have heard me say this a few times, but I see so many of us, separating ourselves from the people that we look up to in this world that are out there creating things. And if you knew their whole story, you would see that they had challenges just like all of us have had challenges. And they had some really rough times in their life, just like all of us have had some really rough times in their life. The only difference is they didn't stay there blaming and pointing at what needs to change. They made a decision for themselves to start flowing their energy and being the best version of themselves, doing what they could do with what they had from where they were in that moment, and started moving towards the things that they wanted to be, do, and have. And that's the only difference between anyone that, right now feels stuck where they are and the people that you admire and you want to, you see them doing great things. The same energy that flows to and through them flows to and through you, and you can apply it and put it towards anything that you want to be, doing, have in this world. And so, oh my gosh, you inspire me so much. So I have to say this now, Simmone. Anybody that's hearing, this conversation and is inspired to, I just love the energy. You guys have already heard me say this, that Simmone is bringing. And anyone that is inspired to connect with her, bare minimum, you got to connect with her on social media, because, you can latch on and feel the energy of, the people like Simmone in this world. And you're bringing your energy to those creations, and then you can flow it in the direction that you want to go. That's the beautiful thing about sharing this planet. It would be no fun if we were just by ourselves and I couldn't connect to your energy, Simmone. And like, I'm just here trying to be so boring if I didn't share the planet with all of you guys. So tell everybody, Simmone, because you mentioned a coaching course. So what are you, what do people have access to you right now, or that you're creating to where they can, if they're local, they're in the Bahamas, of course, but also, online. I love that we live on a planet that we can, reach people all over the globe. It's so much fun. But what have you created, or what do people have access to you right now that they can connect with you on?
Sure. Well, they can definitely connect with me on I have a really heavy presence on Instagram right now. And I've been focusing a lot of my energy and attention on that platform. And I do share it on Facebook. So on Facebook, I have a group called the Limitless You. And so you can be a part of that group. And I just share inspiration into that group. And anyone can share into that group if you're inspired by something. It's not about me. It's not about, a personality, but it's about us sharing as a group. You can connect with me on Instagram. You can subscribe. So I have a link in my bio where you can subscribe by email. And I'll send you material as well. So you'll be able to see, you get free stuff and, some free guides on different things. So the first free guide that I give is the guide to living a balanced life. Because I find so often people who are purposeful tend to get a little busy, and sometimes we get out of balance. And so I offer a free guide for that. I'm also on that page, I've shared 3 ways to have a limitless mindset. And so I will be sharing by email to the email subscribers a free workbook and some other things on just building that limitless mindset. How do we build our resilience to the point where we're not consumed by what's happening around us, so that we can be more in control of what we want to happen in life and not what's happening to us. So those are some immediate resources that you can get access to. And of course, the courses I'm going to be rolling out by the end of the month. So if you are an email subscriber, that's the best way to stay connected and to get all the information that I'll be sharing with everyone. But if you follow my Instagram page, trust me, you get lots of inspiration. I have pretty much of a schedule. So if usually Mondays and Fridays, if I'm not delinquent, I'll admit, Noel, I'm still human, right? So sometimes I don't get sometimes I don't get my videos out. And I think a part of it is because I really do a lot of things by inspiration. And so it's hard for me to get like scheduled. I'm such a free spirit. So if I'm inspired, then I'm going to put it out there. And it's usually something that I feel very strongly that someone else needs to hear. So usually on Mondays and Fridays, I would share just little videos to inspire or to challenge us. So it's Monday Mojo or Fearless Friday. You get a video from me. And then on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, it will be an inspirational quote. And so that's how people can connect with me. I have some books that I'm completing that's coming out this year. I'm really excited about it. One of them is my story. Well, both of them actually. One of them is going to be a memoir. So I'm really digging into my pain, which was in some very difficult relationships. That was really my biggest challenge in life. And then being molested as a young girl and how that really catapulted me into a downward spiral as it related to my mindset. So that's the book. It's called No More Tears. And so that's going to be coming out probably by the summer. And I'm working on 2 books at the same time. So y'all just keep positive vibes my way that I finish. But the second book is kind of autobiographical, but it's going to be fictional. It's going to be a novel. And so it's going to be called Not Enough. And it's really like almost like a romantic thriller of cyber relationship gone bad. That's all I'll say about that.
Very nice.
So I have all of those resources available. Of course, if you follow on Instagram or you subscribe by email, my website will be coming out by March of this year. So lots of ways to stay connected online.
Love it. And we'll make sure that those are super simple for everybody listening to this episode. Just click right on the link below in the description and you'll be able to go right to Simmone's Instagram page or the email list. And definitely highly recommend doing that, because once I connect with people like you, Simmone, it's so much fun to see what it is that you choose to create, because I know that you already know that you can flow that's why you're creating 2 books at one time, because you know that you can. And I'm the same way. I work 100% off of inspiration, because I know that the energy that I inject into whatever that is going to be my best version of me. It's better for me to do that way than to do something at a time where I'd rather be doing something else and my energy is split. Then I'm giving split energy to both things and I'm not getting any of the results or having the fun. And so, yes, I'm right there with you on that. So, but I'll send tons of positive vibes your way, and everybody else will too.
Thank you.
Love it so much. Well, before I close this out, anything else that you want to add about anything that you're inspired to say? I don't want to cut anything short. You've shared so much, so I just appreciate you coming on. But anything else that you want to add before I close this out?
We really did say a lot tonight, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity and to meet you and to share this time with you. I'm really grateful for you opening this space for me, and I know this won't be the last time, so we'll have to do more things, and come over to the Bahamas whenever you feel like we can do some things live,
I'm a hop, skip, and a jump over here in
A hop,
Miami.
skip, and jump away, and so am I. So the next time I'm over in your side of the world, I'll definitely let you know.
Absolutely.
But I just want to let your listeners and viewers know that you can be limitless. You can be limitless, and you are limitless. And it's all about you tapping into your purpose, finding out, who you really are, discovering who you really are, discovering your purpose, why you were born. What is it that you came to the earth to really contribute, to make better for someone else, and to live in authenticity? It is important, so important for you to be true to who you are and not live in comparison, not let, social media has really made us uh, just get unhappy because we're looking at everybody else's best life and we're thinking, well, why am I not living that life? And so when we live purposefully and we live in authenticity, we are happy in our own skin. We're happy in our own life, the life that we have the power to create. And so if you want to change any aspect of your life, then do it. There's nothing to stop you but you. And so you have the power to live in freedom, to live limitless. And that is really what I want to leave with you, and hope that you are inspired and challenged and everything else to make the necessary changes that you need to make. And listen, you have people like Noelle, you have people like me. There's so many people who are on the same boat as you, who want the best for you. We want the best for ourselves. We're going to give you great advice. We're going to be here to support you through our platforms. And so you're not alone. Just do it. Let's get it. Get out there and live limitless.
Wow. I love that so much. For the first time, probably in my whole time of doing this, I have nothing to add. It's just, I want to just leave it right there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful message that you just gave. And everybody that's been listening to all the episodes is going to be laughing right now because they know I always have something to add. And I could add, but I don't want to. I think that was just amazing message. So thank you so much, Simmone, for sharing your beautiful energy. And the only thing I will say is the energy that you're feeling from Simmone that's flowing to her and through her, that you're feeling right now listening to this, you have it inside of you as well. And, there is something that you are here to create. And as you find what that is and start doing it moment by moment, life becomes so much fun, and it stops being about comparison, because a lot of times when we're comparing, it's things that it's like, oh, I want my life to be this way. And it's so future based, when we can get and really start focusing on, what is our purpose and what are we really here to do, then we don't have time to compare ourselves to other people and other, future dates. Like, who cares? Like, we're enjoying right now because we're doing things that are fulfilling us now. And then life becomes so much fun because then you create all of those things anyway. The things that you want in the future, they all unfold in perfect timing in ways that surprise you, and that's how it will always be for all of us. So thank you so much, Simmone, for, I said I wasn't going to add, and I just added a whole bunch of stuff. But,
but that was awesome, though. That was awesome.
This conversation has been so much fun. I just appreciate you for sharing your time and with the audience. And you guys definitely get in contact with Simmone and follow her journey. I know I'm going to enjoy seeing everything unfold for you, Simmone. And thank you guys out there for tuning in to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. This has been so much fun, this journey so far. And really, we're just getting started. If you've been inspired by these episodes, do us all a favor around the world so that this information can get out there even easier. Subscribe to the podcast, rate it, review it. Go to enlightenedconversations.org is the easiest way to do that. And we'll keep spreading this positive energy everywhere. If someone popped into your head while listening to Simmone, make sure that you share this episode with them, because that was not by mistake. And you'll feel so good when that person receives what they were ready to receive from this conversation, and the energy that will come back to you, you'll feel it, and it will benefit your life as well. And it always works out that way. So thank you guys for tuning in. All of us can be, do, and have anything. And I want everybody out there to just have an amazing, amazing day, amazing life, amazing year. And we'll talk to you really, really soon.